Good afternoon, and welcome to a special presentation by Charles on the 14th of January 2013. As you know, Charles is a very good friend of mine and is a chief executive officer of a leading bank. I admire Charles for his honesty, clear thinking and knowledge.
Thank you, Tony. I first gave my presentation to you on the 9th of April 2012. Since then I have given several presentations, as Tony and I believe that major economic crisis is ahead. The purpose of the presentation today is to join up the dots that will enable you to fully understand what is going on in the Western economies. Over the last year, what clues have been given to you that there are problems with the Western economies?
During the presentations over the last year, Tony, Jennifer and yourself have been harping on about fiat currencies.
That's correct. Fiat currencies normally have a lifespan of about 40 years. The dollar has been a fiat currency for 41 years now, so let's join up some of the dots. I guess the picture behind me reflects what the average US person sees, and that is not very much. Okay, any other clues?
Interest rates have been held very low over the last few years.
That's correct. Interest rates should be much higher than they are, and this reflects a poorly functioning economy. Let's join up some more dots. Too much money has been borrowed from the future following the introduction of credit cards, subprime lending and derivatives. That's right, and that is one of the main reasons we are in so much trouble within the Western economies. It's all about how much debt we owe. The debt-based fractional reserve banking fiat monetary system has been highly abused. Never in the history of mankind has there been so much debt owed by Western economies. The reason why it is going to be so catastrophic is that we have synchronized global debt. Let's join up a few more dots.
I have heard you and Jennifer going on about how quantitative easing is not beneficial in the long run.
That's correct. Don't be mistaken when you hear the politicians say it is a stimulus package. It is debasing the currency.
Charles, without quantitative easing, our Western economies would have faced a depression. At least quantitative easing has produced some growth.
Do you know what, Steve? I agree with you. Yes, we would have entered a depression, and yes, we do get some growth from quantitative easing. Okay, now for some reality therapy. Quantitative easing only defers a greater pain down the road. It will be highly inflationary, it debases the money supply, and it is simply a transfer of wealth to the already rich elite. Quantitative easing causes price inflation, and that's why commodity prices are rising and pensions are falling. Let's join up some more dots. A picture is starting to develop, however at this stage, there is not enough information to see what is really going on, and again this reflects the understanding of the majority of the Western population.
The banking elite have been very corrupt. This was highlighted with the LIBOR scandal. Also, Greece should never have entered the euro. Goldman Sachs helped Greece into the euro when it was clear that Greece could not meet the requirements.
That's correct, Andreas. We have also seen the corruption with MF Global. Again, not many people know about that corrupt practice. In a nutshell, they took money out of people's segregated accounts. Once again, a few more dots to join up. We are starting to see more of the picture, but at this stage there is not enough information for the average person to see what is going on.
The debt ceiling issue has not been resolved. Again, I believe that this is a reflection of how dreadful the financial position is.
Spot on, Tony. If the financial position was not so fragile, there would have been an attempt to resolve the fiscal cliff issue. Does anyone know why the government set itself a target to deal with the fiscal cliff issue by the 31st of December 2012?
Yes, when the debt ceiling was raised from $14.3 trillion to $16.4 trillion. Congress agreed that issues must be faced and that if there was no satisfactory way of dealing with the financial crisis, automatic tax rises and spending cuts would be effective from 1st of January 2013. However, as usual, the deadline passed and following a vote in the Senate and Congress, it was decided not to implement the spending cuts. There was a 2% rise in tax, but that was a result of the automatic rise following a reduction of tax during the Bush administration. In a nutshell, our politicians did not face the issue.
That's correct, Tony, and truly reflects the dire position we are in. Let's join up a few more dots. Although we have more information to go on, there are still many people who simply does not see the full picture.
The US politicians will have to face the debt ceiling issue in March of this year. The debt ceiling is currently $16.4 trillion. I suspect that they will raise it to about $19 trillion.
This is going to be one of our most serious issues to face in the near future. I believe the Republican Party will oppose a rise in the debt ceiling, and the dealing will be missed. Following the deadline, a compromise will be reached, and I truly believe the time will come when the politicians finally accept reality. They will be forced to cut spending following the debt ceiling rise. The public will start to become aware of the economic problem and will be finally waking up. I am going to join up quite a few more dots up. Most people looking at the screen behind me will understand the message.
I don't understand it.
Well, I did see most people. I will provide some more information. The Federal Bank are buying up their own bonds as foreign investors dry up. Let's get a few more dots on the screen.
I still don't understand what it means.
Sadly, Tracy, there are quite a few people like you. You will realize when it is too late. Okay then, let's join up the final dots. It is staring us in the face, yet our politicians have not addressed the issues. At the moment, there is calm, there is not a feeling of a crisis. Indeed, if you talk to the average person on the street, they will admit that they feel slightly worse off financially, but they don't understand that their standard of living is going to significantly fall. As I have mentioned before, reality will arrive soon, and I suspect it will be around April of this year. The debt ceiling debate, in my opinion, will become very high profile. It's a little like going to your bank manager to have an increase in your overdraft, only for the bank manager to say that a slightly higher overdraft will be granted subject to significant spending cuts. In conclusion, I would like to say, we ran up a deficit, ignored the facts, blamed someone else, put up tax. I cannot deny we had a crack, but now we have to pay it back.
Quite right, Charles. The party is over.